These Lezyne bike lights are quite popular. They're USB rechargeable, but the waterproofing on them is not great. If you actually use them outdoors, they tend not to last very long. Hence, dead, 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 and just for the sake of consistency, also dead. Now at some point I should get around to making these into solar garden lights, because the LEDs are perfectly fine and the batteries are good. However, the LED driver chip and the button have corroded away to nothing. So is there anything you can do to actually extend their life? Well, if you've come in off a wet ride, you could go and put it on the radiator, but that would be a bad idea because heat and lithium-ion batteries don't mix. The battery could explode if it gets hot, and even if it doesn't, it tends to shorten their life quite a lot when they get warm. Now, the explosiveness and the susceptibility to degradation from heat are both affected by the state of charge. So if you are going to put your light on the radiator, for goodness sake, do it when the battery is nearly empty. Don't go charging it up and then leave it on the radiator overnight, because you may not have a house in the morning. However, even then, I don't know if it's a particularly effective strategy. When it's assembled, it's going to be hard for the moisture to get out. And also, all the time that the battery is connected to the circuit board inside and the unit is damp, electrolysis and therefore vastly accelerated corrosion is going to be happening. So if the unit is wet inside, you need to get it apart and get that battery disconnected as soon as possible. Now, lithium-ion batteries also explode when you mechanically abuse them and cause punctures, etc. So again, I would still only disassemble one of these lights when the battery state of charge is low, when it is only light hiss at you for a bit rather than actually letting out flames. Sorry about that. It seems that my alignment issues on my head cam are still persisting, and unless I look at my knees, you can't actually see what I'm looking at. So I've just reshot the actual teardown video. So this is how you actually get the light apart. First thing you must do is get the button and flick it off, and then you take a number 5mm Allen key to the mounting thing on the bottom and undo it. And then you just push on the lens to shove the whole insides out. Now if it's your first time, it may get a bit stiff. Out it pops. Okay. And take a note of the assembly order. So you've got this, this is the connector for the battery. So if we just unplug this, that will stop the degradation that was going on from the PCB being wet but still connected to a DC power source. So that was alongside the battery, which was slightly offset to the left. And here is the plastic frame. It's got a little cutout for the actual USB part of the connector of the circuit board. And on the bottom you've got this aluminium heatsink thing, which is soldered to the, or brazed to the actual LED board. Let's just actually slide this battery out. So this can now rest over here and stay nice and cool when the rest of the light goes on your radiator to be dried out. You can see there's quite a bit of green corrosion and muck on that already. So the plastic frame just slides off there. Cut out so it goes together like so, with this bit over the top. Looks like if you used too long of a bolt for this part, you could actually screw straight through and into the battery and make the battery go bang, which is not brilliant. So when you reset it like this, it does turn itself on straight away. Off, please. You can see it's already doing some weird stuff because of the water. This is quite hard to do while looking at my knees and remembering to actually just swivel my eyes upwards. Yeah. Just to make life easier for ourselves, let's just push the lens forward, or even pop it out completely before we... Oh, come on. Attempt to force the circuit board back in. Quite easy to pop it back in if you, from the other side, if you go too far. Set it more to the right and... Oh, come on. Yeah, that's the right way. Ah, perfect. It's, where's Wallace? This is Gromit. Is that not down on that side, is it? Ah, there we are. And finally, let's put the strap on. Right, I hope you can see all of that.